The Last Voyage of the Blue Dragon. Well, it was Marianne's last wish when we were talking about how she wanted things to be, you know. And she said, I want a Viking funeral. And I went, that's going to be hard. And then we came down to a scaled-down Viking funeral, so that's what we did. I don't actually know how to build a Viking ship, so I went to the Vikings, and the Historical Museum in Norway has, can you believe it, buyable, scalable plans for the Drakkar, and that's what the boat was. It was a scale model, anyway, 4 feet long, basically, instead of 128. It was built out of a piece of driftwood that Marianne and I dragged off the beach more than 20 years ago, which was yellow cedar, and I machined that down to make the keel, and then I cut plywood gussets out of Baltic birch, and then I put the planks on made out of triple laminated cherry veneer. It took me 2 months to build it. Well, Marianne always had blue hair. It mixed in, so and it was going to be some kind of dragon, so the white dragon is the pirate ship, so it couldn't be the white dragons. Shannon always calls herself the red dragon, so I made it the blue dragon. We had to go to Seward to launch it because you don't launch burning things in English Bay without getting arrested, and that wasn't part of the deal. So we had to basically get up and get to Seward, which we did on a Sunday, beautiful sunny day, and we managed to do the whole thing in a day.
And I asked him to choose for me the violet.
That was pretty brutal conditions. The wind came up. We got to Seward about 3, and the original idea was we were going to do it at night, and then we cleverly figured out that was going to be really difficult. So we went down to the beach about 4:30.
So what preparations did you do on the day of?
Well, there was a lot of panic. Let me see. And we got a perfect offshore breeze, which turned into a perfect offshore gale by the time we left, so. I used her rock collection for ballast, so there's pieces of Callanish stone down there as well.
That's right, Shannon's gonna go and borrow some fire.
Oh, she's gonna go borrow some fire, okay.
Kind of like Prometheus when he's the other way around.
Who came to the launch?
Shannon, my sister-in-law, 3 friends from Germany, Sabina, Martina, and Volker, my friend Stan Regel from Cincinnati, and I, and Karen and Tom, who hosted us when we were there. You have these events and you'll get to see the film, but it doesn't show how much help and cooperation you get from all the people involved. And that involved things like meals, and Sabina booked the car for the trip, and ferries had to be arranged. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you don't realize happens to make something like this go. It's like a theatrical production. It all looks like it was really easy, and you don't know that it was 6 weeks of work beforehand. But everybody who was there helped a lot to make it the event it was. So thank you to all of them.
Hopefully it floats. That's a whole other issue.
So the boat sailed perfectly. I have to say, the Vikings knew what they were doing. Okay, Stan, let her go.
The tide's coming in, Robin, so it's going to push it towards.
Give it time, it
Pull it out, Tom.
while the
How did it go trying to light it on fire?
That was a disaster, pretty much. Getting ready here.
Do we have a lighter to light this?
Shannon, you give us a signal.
We could not get a flaming arrow anywhere near it because of the wind. They kept blowing off into the ocean. In the end, we hauled it back. I had very cleverly put a string on it both ways. So Tom was out in the water in the boat with one end and I was on the shore with the other. And so we could guide it back or forth. Yeah, Stanley, can you hang on to the end of that string?
Don't let it go. Let Marianne go. Okay.
We got more oil?
Yeah.
The original plan was the boat would sail out. We got that part. We had soaked it down with lamp oil, so every part of it was combustible. We brought it back, filled it full of cedar kindling, lit it, and then said it sailed out to sea again. So that was the that was the plan B. Okay. Okay, Tom. It was a theatrical event, let's put it that way. Maybe the last hurrah or the final curtain or the final voyage. We'll call it the final voyage. It was quite far away by that point, so the person who got the best view was Tom in his kayak. The boat was put together with hot glue, so there was a point at which the fire was enough that it melted the hot glue.
Well, she's got a burning.
And then it just went down like woof. There was no gradual Titanic sinking. It was gone in like 3 seconds when it went. All we could see from the shore was the flames went out, and it was gone. Oh, we went to Tom and Karen's because they live in Sayward, so that's why we're there. And a nice dinner of stew which Karen had made, which was she wasn't well and Tom wasn't well either. So, but we had a nice dinner. And on the way home, I was driving back with Shannon. We had 2 cars because there were so many of us. And she said, "You know, I really envy you." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, her husband died 2 years before Marianne." She said, "I still have his ashes and I haven't dealt with them." And she said, "And you've got it all tidied up." And I said, "Well, I hadn't thought of it that way." There was some drinking. Say when.
There we go. So we will cheers. We'll get
Yeah, we did a toast to the memories.
Are you cheering with us?
This is the glass after the 3rd martini.
Okay.
All right, you ready? It was a strangely fulfilling experience, I have to say. And I have to say, it was actually a lot of fun. There was a really nice sense of completion because it was something that she wanted us to do, and by God, we managed it. So, yeah. Karen and Tom came to visit me for Halloween, so in the next week, and Karen said 2 days later it washed up on the beach. None of the shields were still on. The dragon head was gone, but basically from the water line, a couple of planks up from the water line, it was there. So and it was completely empty. So Marianne was committed to the sea. The local kids have a sort of like a driftwood log fort. And the boat is now part of the fort. So I thought that would be a fitting end because Marianne would have liked that.
That's great.